We are back. This is Dr. C.A. Tripp. Let me just make this point here. Doctor, can you see me? I'm over here, to your left.
I lost you.
Over here, way up here.
Yes.
Dr. Tripp was, did you know Kinsey, or you worked with him, did you?
Yes, I worked with him for 9 years. I was never part of the institute, but I worked with him.
All right. I'm merely trying to establish that you are a serious researcher, yes. And I don't think it's surprising to you that your thesis here is being met with considerable opposition. I do want the point to be made, however, that this does not make it true, but Freud gave credence to this theory, didn't he?
Well, in various ways he did, yes. But everybody gives credence to it, and each individual here will, if I can get you to re-examine perhaps your neighbors as well as yourself.
Yeah.
Doctor, would it follow then that the longer a person is married or two people are married, that the relationship would get worsen?
I didn't say it would get worse. It raises the continuing problem of intimacy. Now, if you don't mind giving up a certain kind of delicacy, that's all right. You know, Balzac, of all people, said that for a woman to give herself to a man is like handing a violin to a gorilla. Well, this is, if you have this kind of relationship, you can have both. But if you have a delicate, intimate bedroom scene, then you have to be very careful how you reestablish distances.
To simplify, I don't want to... It sounds like you're saying in sex, familiarity breeds contempt.
It breeds fatigue, which is the great tragedy.
All right. If that's true, the consequence, Doctor, the consequence of your position seemed to me to include, among other things, a statement against monogamy.
Oh, well, yes, monogamy is the hardest thing in the world to make work. I'm not suggesting that people are going to give it up, but it's very, very difficult. We know of 2,200 societies in the world. Less than 5% try for monogamy. None of them are successful. We have to bear this in mind and build it into our frame of reference, build it into our way of
Aren't you
thinking.
at least curious as to why this wonderfully satisfying, fun-filled, exciting human activity was given to us? And it's as though some psychotic said, wait till I show you how difficult it's going to be for you to get it.
The spark that so attracts us all, and that whole voltage of love, is a spark between a distance. You're talking about essentially a spark between strangers. As they get closer and more familiar with each other, you risk the whole enterprise.
Yeah.
Are you asking a person to choose when they marry between having 16 hours a day of fun and enjoyable conversation with their husband and activities such as sporting events, choosing that, or 1 hour of wild fun at night?
If you will listen to me, you can have them both. If you don't listen to me, you will run into the ditch that everybody else runs into. You can have them both, provided you reestablish the distance, especially after contact.
Well, I think one thing, when I got married, I expected all this togetherness.
Yeah.
And I found out that you don't always have that togetherness. My husband goes his way, I go my way, and then we meet in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, but then and that's fine with you.
Yes, we have a good relationship.
And that's very nice, especially if it breathes back and forth that way. Just try up closeness all the time and see how many sparks you generate.
Did I miss something, or what are you suggesting for a happy recipe?
Oh, I think that that has to be an individual thing, and that thousands of recipes work. I just say watch out about one thing. Reestablish the distance as soon as you violate it. Reestablish the independence. Don't forget that a call girl, any call girl could tell you, nobody really wants a pushover. They want somebody they can't take for granted.
Now, is that true for both sexes?
Of course, the resistance phenomena is equal.
But here's the killer about your point. What you're suggesting is that every time a man approaches in an obvious, positive, familiar way, a woman, assuming that they're both single, forget the moral thing here.
And succeeds, yes.
Wait a minute. No, what you're saying is, don't say yes right away. Make yourself hard to get.
I said you can say absolutely yes right away. You can invite the person in. It doesn't matter how you get into bed, it matters how you get out. You have to be very careful to reestablish the resistance. That was great. What is your name again? You put the distance, the next time
Can you imagine the look on his face if you said that tomorrow morning?
You know, Maribel Morgan has the right idea. The trouble with her is that she suggests that you meet your husband with a, bunny costume at the door or something. You're liable to find this embarrassing. There are other ways that you can surprise. You can come in from a different angle. You can go into the living room and read the newspaper as though there's nobody else in the room. And when somebody says, how about a cup of coffee, you look up with a big surprise that you aren't alone. These are the kinds of re-establishments of distance that work.
Okay, running out of time.
We should just follow our natural instincts.
That's what you think.
Absolutely. Absolutely, and watch out for the ditch in front of you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm making my way. Okay, yes. A little time now.
When I was 16, I thought I was an nymphomaniac. So I married a 20-year-old I thought I was a nymphomaniac, and he's a sex maniac.
Right.
43
We're all happy for both of you.
43 years later, I find out he's not and I wasn't. And raising sex to me is like raising children. Your dominant experience, and by trial and error, you get through the years. The kids are grown by the time you know what you're doing, and you're too old for sex.
If I'd said that, I would be stoned off of this platform.